This is Motown Maddy,
by Emma Brockett.
illustrated by Jaret Gil. On a clear sunny morning in May, Madeline and her family went out for the day. After hours of wondering of where to go in the Mint, they decided on Detroit to visit. So she filled up her sack, her drawstring backpack that she got for free, and climbed in the back seat to start her journey.
A few hours later, she entered the city. Madeline stood her ground and was ready. Her mission was to collect a pile of treasures of sizable measures.
She was worried she wouldn't find her way through Detroit streets during her stay, but to her surprise, the notes and beats of the city's heart formed the pathway on which she must impart.
The nodding notes led her to her first stop, to the Motown Museum. The notes bopped. Sequined and feathered artifacts seemed to dance along to every bumping, brassy song.
To the gift shop she twist and shout, to the hat rack she ventured about. To collect her first souvenir, she left the museum with the music in her ear.
With her new cap secured on her head, Madeline caught sight of her note friends as they led her to her next destination, a destination seemingly from another nation.
Bright colors peppered the streets of Mexican town. It was the liveliest place she'd ever seen, hands down.
The delicious smells alone made her tummy full, so she settled on a decorated candy school.
The Michigan Science Center, Madeline shouted as she joyfully hopped into the line to enter.
Once inside, she found so much to learn and do, like those electricity spheres wizards probably use.
With her very own geode twinkling in her hand, she was excited to see where her guides would next stand.
Continuing her journey, she almost got lost in a crowd. When she raised her eyes above the people cloud, Madeline saw why everyone was hustling. She was in the middle of Easter Market and all of its bustling.
The sound of music flowed, the color of the produce glowed, and the smell of flowers danced around her as she walked into the chaos farther and farther.
A bouquet of daisies is what she chose, just as her musical notes once again arose.
Next stop, John K. King Bookstore. It is said to have books stacked from ceiling to floor.
And they were right. Everywhere she looked, there was a book in sight. Madeline almost fell to her butt with a plop when she realized that with one floor, the madness didn't stop.
At least finding a book wouldn't be tough, with 4 floors of books being quite enough.
The sun had almost set when she arrived at the Heidelberg Project. Madeline thought she was on a different planet when she saw a house with teddy bears on it.
She wandered aimlessly around the street, taking in every piece she could meet. To her surprise, there were no souvenirs to buy. She couldn't find anything, no matter how hard she tried.
But an idea dawned on her in that moment. She could add one of her own souvenirs to the wacky movement.
And with everything in place, everything in its own space, Madeline, like always, was guided by the heartbeats of the city. This time, however, leading her to her own spot in the back seat. Even though she loved being in Detroit, she was happy to go home because they say the city never sleeps, but Madeline sure does. The end.